Hello and welcome to the video lecture series brought to you by St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. My name is Ravinder. I am an assistant professor with the TC department and we are discussing the subject called Object Technologies and Programming in Java, that is OTP. Today we are going to see a new topic that is one of the core fundamentals or the building blocks of your roots paradigm, that is abstraction. We have already seen the inheritance and polymorphism, so today we are going to take on the abstraction. Let's head back to the notes. Now, abstraction is one of the key concepts of your roots languages. Its main goal is to handle the complexity by hiding the unnecessary details from the user. That enables the user to implement more complex logic on top of the provided abstraction without understanding or not thinking about all the hidden complexity. This is a very generic concept that's not limited to your roots. You can find it everywhere in the real world. So what we are trying to say here is, suppose you own a car. Okay, you know how to drive a car. Okay, you know how to drive in the hilly areas, you know how to drive fast, you know how to reverse and all those complex things. But at the end of the day, you don't want to know, or the companies, or you don't bother to know that when you press your accelerator, when you push in a gear, how does your car manages to speed up, to slow down, to let's say to move in the other direction if you pull out of your, or I can say if you pull in the reverse gear and all that. So the large amount of complex process, that is after inserting a gear, the speed of the engine or speed of your automobile automatically changes, is being hidden from you. Okay, now that is hidden from you from a point of view, that is to make your life easier. So the automobile makers don't want you to get confused on how those small tiny things work in let's say in harmony. But in the end, they only want you to know the essential things, that is how to drive a car safely. Okay, how to perform certain functions, that is when you are turning, you must provide your indicators and all. Okay, if the fuel is getting less, then you must top up your fuel tank with the fuel, and all those small tiny things, all that is absolutely necessary to drive a car. But they are not concerned about how the internal workings of cars are performing. That is being left to the mechanics only. Okay, so you can say that to make the end users who don't know the technical stuff, let's say you are a mechanical engineer and you do understand how your engine works and all that, but there are plenty of people around there who are not technicals, who don't understand, or they will take they will it will take a huge leap of knowledge for them to understand how the internal workings of your car are performed. And even if you are a mechanical engineer, you won't be able to understand all the small tiny details of an automobile, because some of them may be concerned with your electricals and electronics and all that. So to get the end users not into much of a trouble while using a end product, the concept of abstraction is implemented. So abstraction is hiding the very complex, minute details from the end user, so that end user can focus only on the bare essential things. That is the core concept of abstraction, and that is the actually the core of abstraction is actually implemented in our day-to-day lives, and it is also being implemented in our computer systems also. So you, by pressing a particular button on your mobile phone on a particular app, do performs a certain thing. Let's say on YouTube you push on a particular video and it will start playing. But at the back of the application, you don't want to know. Okay, or you don't understand how the things are doing, how those videos are fetched up from the servers and are running and converted back to the video signals and are playing on your video players of your mobile phones. Okay, you don't want to know that because that's too much of a technical stuff for a layman. So the Companies only wants the end user to focus on the bare minimum essential things and left the complexity to the technical side. Okay, so that is abstraction for me. In your day-to-day life, you must have experienced the abstraction on a daily basis in your life. Yeah. Few of the example that I have listed a few minutes ago are the I think everybody have experienced that. Okay, now let's. There's one example that we have taken here, the abstraction in the real world in your notes. Let me also read them up. So if you're a coffee addict, and so when let's say I wake up in the morning and go to my kitchen, switch on the coffee machine and make coffee. Sounds familiar? So making coffee with a coffee machine is a good example of abstraction. You need to know how to use coffee machine to make coffees. You need to provide water and coffee beans, switch it on, select the kind of coffee you want. The thing you don't need to know is how the coffee machine is actually internally brew a fresh cup of delicious coffee. You don't need to know the ideal temperature of the water or the amount of ground coffee you need to use. Someone else worried about that and created a coffee machine that now acts as an abstraction and hides all these details. So the end user doesn't bother about it. And they must not. That is the whole point. Okay. Now you just interact with the simple interface that doesn't require any knowledge about the internal implementation. And that is the beauty of abstraction. It hides the internal complexity from the end user. So to make the life of the end user hassle free while using the product. So you can use the same concept in your OOPS language like Java. Now in OOPS, object in OOP language provide an abstraction that hides the internal implementation details. Similar to the coffee machine in your kitchen, you just need to know which methods of the object are available to call and which input parameters are needed to trigger a specific operation. But you don't need to understand how this method is implemented and which kind of actions it has performed to create an expected result. Okay, now let's implement the coffee machine example in Java. You do the same in any other language, the results will be almost same. So using the concept of abstraction, you can hide all the decisions and processing steps within your coffee machine class. So we'll build a coffee machine class, and in that coffee machine class, the inner complexities will be hidden from the end user. And if you want to keep it as simple as possible, you just need a constructor method that takes a map of coffee objects to create a new coffee machine object, and a brew coffee method that expects your coffee selection and returns a coffee object. So, in very layman terms, as we are not familiar with the concept of constructors and methods and all that in Java, we haven't started that yet. So, I'll tell you that I think you people are familiar with the concept of class and object now. So, what I will tell you. So, the coffee machine class is your let's take it as your machine, the coffee machine, the actual physical machine. So, your coffee machine object, as you know, that class is just a blueprint, object is the working body. So, your coffee machine object will take a map from you. That map is nothing but a list of choices. Okay, you will have several options and it will ask you, okay, you want this, you want this, you want this, and after asking you a few of the choices, it will uh, provide you with the excellent coffee that you actually desire. Okay, so that constructor just need a map, and that map is particularly a choice of coffee beans, nothing else. Okay, to create a new coffee machine object. Okay, and then that object will call a method called brew coffee that expects your coffee selection and returns a coffee object. Okay, so after you have provided okay all those small details about your coffee, a method will be called that is let's say a button on your coffee machine called brew coffee that will expect a particular bean of coffee to be selected. Okay, now when you pass on that data to your to that particular method, that is brew coffee, it returns a coffee object. So by returning coffee object, I mean to say that it will return you with an excellent coffee to brighten up your morning. And that is it. That is your abstraction. So you don't need to know how that brew coffee method will in the end brew excellent coffee for you by just uh, having the data about the particular coffee bean. All that is hidden from you. All you need to know is what are your choices and which of the coffee bean that you have selected. So there are few details that are for the user to know, to make a particular choice, but the rest of the details are hidden from the user, and that is actually your abstraction in action. I think you have understood what I am trying to say. So we have two types of abstractions. I will also show you your abstraction in action, but first I will show you two slides. Now we have two types of abstraction with us. That is your data abstraction and your process abstraction. Okay. Now, what do you mean by that? As you can see, we have two words here, that is private and public. Okay, now these private and public we will discuss in detail later in the course, but for now you can uh, just call them as access modifiers. Okay, these are your access modifiers. That is what kind of things that you can access and what kind of things you cannot access. So the things that are not accessed by you or by the user are actually hidden from you for a reason. Okay, so that you don't get indulged in all that complexity of working of your application and all that. And the things that are being shown to you, that is, as you can see from the name public, it has been public, that is to be seen by everyone, that is the user and all. These are named as public for a reason, so that you can see those kind of things. And all these access modifiers also provide you with some bit of security. Okay, that is actually another concept of your groups that is uh, we'll discuss in a later lecture, not today. But these publics and private will makes your abstraction happening. So as you can see here, we have two properties, that is name, which is of type string, and your ID, which is of type integer. These are all private. Okay, but we have two methods, that is get name and set name, and then get ID and set ID. These are all public. Okay, so get name means you can access the name of a user, but you cannot change it. And also by get ID, you can have the name of a of the ID of a particular user, but you cannot change it. Okay, the inner complex. So data is abstracted. Okay, now data abstraction is done only for the purpose of security and nothing else, which is not the actual abstraction. From the next slide, we will see the actual abstraction. Now this is your actual abstraction. This is where the main purpose of abstraction came in. So as you can see, we have few methods which are listed as private. That means they are hidden from the user, and few of the methods which are being listed as your public. That means they are for the end user. So the end user must know all these methods to function, to use a particular product. So let's suppose a car driver, let's say this is your car. So the car driver, which is the end user, must know how to turn off the car, turn on the car, accelerate, brake, and gear change. And that is all the things that you actually need to drive a car. If you know how to manage all these aspects of an automobile with security, with all the security details, you will be able to drive your automobile or your car safely around. Okay, but what the companies don't need you to know, that is the end user, that is the car driver, is how the fuel is filled into the engine, how the spark is generated, how by moving your brake pedals the brakes are actually initiated. Okay, how by changing your gears, that is changing your gears, the piston speeds changes. Okay, so all these, let me tell you, all these methods actually make use of these methods. That means by turning on, we are actually creating the spark and letting the fuel inside your engine. So these are using these feeds, these methods, but you can only access, or you are only required to know these methods and how to use them. You are not required to know all these. So these are listed as private. So the inner complexity has been hidden from you. Okay, so I think you have got the point now what I am trying to say. Now this is your process abstraction. There is no data involved in it. These are all methods. These are all processes. Okay, so some of the processes are made public. That is, the end user must know them to operate a particular product. But some of the methods are actually made private, so that the end user doesn't have to bother about them. Actually, they can know them, but not in this case. Actually, we have listed them as private. because the end user don't should not make its life hell by diving deep into these methods. So all he has to know is uh, the minimum bare essentials to drive a car, that is turning on, turning off, acceleration, braking and gear change, and everything rest is actually automated. These methods actually take help of these private methods, that is privately, that is the inside process, but it doesn't, these methods doesn't let the cab driver bother about it. So this is your abstraction in action. So we have two types of abstraction, that is data abstraction and process abstraction. So I think you people are pretty clear now what is abstraction. So let's move our notes for the last time. As you can see, for the class coffee machine, which is public, as because the coffee machine is your actual product. Inside that we have a map coffee selection, which is actually private. So this is your data abstraction. This is your data abstraction in action. And this is your constructor. Okay, so we have a method called brew coffee, which is again made public for your use. That is why it is been listed as public. Okay, and I think rest of the things will not make sense right now, so I will not bother about them, and I will also recommend you people to not to dive deep into this topic right now. It will make sense after some time, but at least not now. So, so what I have told you already is sufficient for providing a reasonable answer for providing a reasonable answer if someone asks you what is abstraction. So I'm going to end this lecture now.